The dawn of 1836 found Texas at a crossroads. The rugged frontier territory, nominally under Mexican rule, was boiling with discontent. American settlers who had come seeking opportunity, Tejano landowners who cherished their autonomy, and adventurers drawn by the promise of a new life, all shit growing resentment toward the increasingly authoritarian regime of General Antonio de Santa Anna. The stage was set for revolution, and at the heart of this gathering storm stood an unassuming former mission. The Alamo, originally built as Mission San Antonio de Valero in 1780. The compound had been secularized and repurposed as a military outpost. Its thick adobe walls, designed to withstand native attacks, now formed an unlikely fortress in the growing conflict between Texas colonists and the Mexican government. By February, about 180 men had gathered within its walls, a ragtag collection of volunteers that included farmers and merchants alongside seasoned soldiers and frontiersmen. The defenders represented a microcosm of Texas society, alongside famous figures like James Bowie, the knife-fighting legend, now suffering from typhoid, William Barrett Travis, the passionate young lawyer, and Davy Crockett, the celebrated frontiersman and former congressman, stood Tejano patriots who risked everything for the cause of federalism. Men like Captain Juan, who would later carry word of the Alamo's fall to Sam Houston, and Gregorio Esparza, whose family would be spared because his brother fought with Santa Anna's forces. Even enslaved individuals like Joe, Travis's servant, found themselves caught up in the unfolding drama. As February waned, the noose tightened. Santa Anna's army, a formidable force of professional soldiers, numbering between 1,800 and 6,000, arrived in San Antonio on February 23rd. The sight of the Mexican troops marching into town sent civilians fleeing. The Alamo West defenders barely had time to drive cattle inside and destroy nearby buildings that might provide cover for attackers before the siege began in earnest. The Mexican artillery opened fire almost immediately, their cannonballs smashing into the Alamo's walls. Inside, the defenders worked feverishly to reinforce their positions. Travis, as commander of the regular troops, and Bowie, leading the volunteers, organized round-the-clock watches. The famous Tennessee sharpshooters under Crockett's command took up positions on the vulnerable palisade, their long rifles proving deadly accurate against any Mexican soldier who ventured too close. On February 24th, with the compound already taking heavy fire, Travis penned his immortal appeal to the people of Texas and all Americans in the world. The letter, carried out by couriers, mixed defiance with desperation. "I shall never surrender or retreat. Victory or death." Even as he wrote, Bowie collapsed from his illness, passing command entirely to Travis. The young lieutenant colonel, just 26 years old, now bore sole responsibility for the fate of everyone inside. The days dragged on with relentless bombardment. Mexican engineers dug siege lines ever closer to the walls. By March 3rd, the outer walls were crumbling in places, and the defenders knew time was running out. That day, Travis received word that help would not be coming. The provisional government was in disarray, and no substantial reinforcements could be expected. According to legend, he gathered his men and drew a line in the dirt with his sword, giving any who wished the chance to leave. Only one man, Louis Rose, reportedly crossed the line to escape. The rest chose to stay and fight. On the cold morning of March 6th, around 5 a.m., the Mexican assault began. Santa Anna's troops moved forward in 4 columns, their approach masked by darkness and a lull in the bombardment. The stillness was suddenly shattered by the shrill notes of the traditional Spanish bugle call signaling no quarter would be given. The first attackers reached the walls before the alarm could be sounded. What followed was sheer carnage. The defenders, awakened by the chaos, rushed to their posts. The north wall, already weakened by artillery, became the focal point of the attack. Travis was among the first to fall, shot in the forehead. As he directed fire from the artillery platform, Mexican soldiers poured through the breaches, their sheer numbers overwhelming the Texans. In the chapel, the last defenders made their stand. Bowie, too weak to rise from his sick, reportedly killed several attackers with his pistols and famous knife before being bayoneted. Crockett and his Tennessee boys were cut down near the palisade, their long rifles useless at close quarters against the Mexican bayonets. The fighting lasted perhaps 90 minutes, though to those involved, it must have seemed an eternity. By sunrise, all the defenders lay dead. Santa Anna ordered their bodies burned in massive pyres. the smoke rising over San Antonio as a grim warning to other would-be rebels. Yet this calculated act of terror backfired spectacularly. The slaughter at the Alamo became the rallying cry of the Texas Revolution. Just 6 weeks later, at the Battle of San Jacinto, Sam Houston's forces swept into battle, shouting "Remember the Alamo," and crushed Santa Anna's army in a stunning 80-minute victory. The general who had shown no mercy at the Alamo was captured the next day, forced to sign treaties recognizing Texas independence. In the years that followed, the Alamo transformed from a forgotten mission to a sacred symbol. The stories of its defenders, some true, some embellished, became foundational myths of Texas identity. Today, the Alamo stands not just as a physical remnant of history, but as a powerful testament to the complex interplay of courage, sacrifice, and the human capacity for both brutality and nobility. The men who died there, from all walks of life and various motivations, became forever linked in what historian T.R. Fahrenbach called the epic of the Texas people. Their story continues to resonate because it speaks to universal truths about freedom, sacrifice, and the price some are willing to pay for their beliefs.